how to set up your camera with camera frames. That's the nice frame that goes around your camera. Well, come down here to scenes again, to sources again. And we'll go for video capture device again. We'll call this our Logitech camera. I don't know why I've got two game I've got two game captures because it's looking at the screen. It's doing that right here when I'm selecting. So we want to make sure we've selected our camera. For me, I put my camera through NVIDIA Broadcast. So that's it there. So I selected NVIDIA Broadcast camera. Select it and then select it again, and now we've got our camera back on through the NVIDIA Broadcast. Right, but for you, it should just be as simple as selecting your camera. For me, I use NVIDIA Broadcast because I use a different background, so that's why I do that. Default device, we want custom resolution. I want to make sure it's at 1920 by 1080. Or whatever you want to record in. I mean, if you've got a really good computer, you can go to 4K, but it's up to you. And our FPS, we want to make sure our FPS is at 60 or 30. That's good enough. Don't worry about video format. And we'll accept that. Okay, so now you can see our camera is right here. And here is our game capture. All right, so you can put your camera up here into your game capture. Make it smaller or bigger, depending on however you want to do it. Okay, so now we've got our game capture and our camera set in. The next thing we want to do is put a frame around our camera so it looks better than what it is. So how we do that is we go here and we click on picture or image. Call it frame. Select your frame. So for me, I'm going to go into my webcam frames. And I have a webcam frame down here. If you join my Discord, you can get a copy of this web frame for free. All right, then we grab our frame and we put it into, so we'll make our frame about this big, right? And see how our frame is over the top of our camera? What I'll do is I'll make everything bigger so you can see how I adjust everything here. Click on Logitech camera or whatever camera you have in these sources. Then hold Alt Control while it's selected. And up the top here, go to the arrow, or you can do it on the left or the right or the bottom. And you can move it up and down to make it bigger. See how I'm adjusting the size of it there? So I can make it, if it's not in the frame, I can make this bigger or smaller to go into the frame. All right. So like that, make the camera bigger or smaller. Okay, so once everything is perfectly in the frame, we want to group that with the frame. So whenever we move the camera, it'll move the frame with it, right? So we click on the camera over here and the frame. We right click. And then we go up to group selected items. So now you see here, whenever I move my camera, I can scale it, make it bigger or smaller, and it goes bigger or smaller with the frame. So we don't have to readjust the camera inside the frame ever again. You can just group them and then, you can make it bigger or smaller like that. All right, so this is the owned dashboard here. What we can do is we can go to scenes. I'll just quickly show you first. There's all these different themes that you can get, right? Lots of Modern Warfare themes that you can get. And you see here, you can get all these different types of scenes. So I have a dark mode scene that I use, and there's a few other scenes here. I use the dark mode scene, and I've set up a couple of scenes here. So I've got my starting scene, my ending scene, and my be right back scene. Then I have my camera frame that I created. So if you want to add a specific thing, you go down here, click on add, complete setup, manual, go to create new scene, click on single scene or automatic scene. If you want a full package that's already made for you that has everything in it, then you can go to automatic, but I'm going to go to manual just to show you how to add a camera frame. Right, so you can use the current template that you're using, or you can start with an empty scene, right? For me, I'm going to add a graphic, and as you can see here, we have a lot of different graphics that we can add. So here there is a webcam style graphic. Here are our frames. So you can add whatever frame you want to add in. This is an example. I'll add this one. So here is our frame. Adjust it to whatever size you want it to be. So that looks about right there. And so you can add all different other types of graphics in as well. So alert icons. Well, I'm just going to do one here, right? So whenever someone does a subscription or donates money, you can grab this little alert icon here, make it smaller, and you can put it up in here, right? And there it is there. And whenever someone gives you a gifted sub or cash or a donation, it'll come up there with their name. I'm not going to go in how to use this whole software. It's pretty straightforward and you should be able to figure it all out yourself. But I will go back to my main template and I'll show you the frame and how I put that frame into OBS. So here in dark mode, here is my camera frame. And as you can see, I have all my little settings here. So my subs, my likes, my donations, everything is here. And this frame is the right size. So how do I get this into OBS? I go up here to copy overlay, and then I go to copy complete scene. The URL has been copied. Then I go back to OBS. Once I'm in OBS, let's make this a little bit bigger. We'll have to readjust that in a sec. Once I'm in OBS, I go to here, and then I go to a browser, right? And we'll call this camera frame owned. Paste that in here. We want it 1920 by 1080. It's very important that you put those in so it matches your resolution. Click on OK, and you'll see the camera frame turns up right here. It's always going to be in the exact same place as long as you have it set to whatever position you want it set through owned. Okay? So it never changes for me. It always stays in that same position for me. So whenever I need to set it up again or anything like that, then it will always be in the same position for me, which is great. Okay. Unless I move it here, right? But as long as it's within the exact position, then it will be in the corner here where it should be. Now what we want to do is add this in. So first of all, we want to get rid of this old frame, which is this one here. So what we want to do is group that with the camera. Okay, so I'm going to select I want to unlock we want to make sure the camera is unlocked so we can move the camera. The camera needs to be on top as well. No, the camera needs to be just underneath the frame. So we'll move this underneath the frame, make it a little bit bigger so it's within the frame. And then we'll do what I said before, which is scaling the camera. So Alt Control, and we'll scale this into position, scale this up a little bit into position, scale this from the left into position. We'll select the camera and the owned frame, right click and group selected items. So whenever we move this whole thing around, it will reposition it. Whenever we scale it up or down, the camera will get larger or smaller, okay? Alright, so we'll unlock the game capture so we can move it. Here it is here. And this is what my game looks like. Congratulations, you've earned a Victory Royale trophy. Let's claim it.